So are they or are they not on strike? University academic staff announced that they will begin their strike this morning. And our reporter Shadrack Mitty has been keeping an eye on this story. Let's now bring him in live from our city center studios for more details about that situation for teaching and non-teaching staff of the universities. A very good afternoon to you, Shadrack. You have visited a number of institutions, specifically the University of Nairobi. What was the situation?
Yeah, Akisa, as you well mentioned, indeed the lecturers are still on strike. And this morning, in fact, we spoke to them. And they had planned indeed to submit their petition to the CS Education, Dr. Fred Matiang'i, but they had to shelve that idea once it became apparent that the leadership of the National Committee for the Universities Academic Staff Union, that is UWASU, were meeting the leadership of the Remuneration Commission, that is the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, somewhere in Westlands, where they are hoping to thrash out all the sticky matters within all this. But even as the talks continues, the lecturers have vowed and continued to state that the strike is still on and they will not listen to anything short of ensuring that the CBA between 2013 to 2017 is discussed and looked at and exclusively and entirely acted upon as it were. Because for them, they feel that if this CBA is not looked at very clearly, then in the next 2 months, that is by March, when the Parliament, when the CS for finance or for National Treasury shall be tabling the budget statement to the National Assembly, then it means their wishes and their demands shall not have been looked into. And so they are pushing to ensure that by March this year, everything within that CBA should have been looked into. But now, we earlier on spoke to them, and here we want to look at what the two of the officials spoke about. That is Mr. Muiga from Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology and his colleague from University of Nairobi. Both are officials of UWASU from executive branches. Let's have a look at what they said.
In 1988, lecturers were earning more than MPs, members of parliament. But because it was deregistered, by 2002, lecturers were earning much less than their students after they leave college. I want to say that we cannot allow our union to be killed by the government that is not ready to remunerate its workers accordingly. Failure to remunerate the human resource, especially in the university, is going to bring this country down to its knees. Because we are the people who develop the human resource required to take over our industry, to industrialize our Kenya. You cannot talk about Vision 2030 if you have no well-trained human resources. What we are saying is that the lecturers are not going to relent on their agitation for better pay, for better remuneration, and for better compensation for the labor they offer in the universities.
We would want negotiations that make sense. The current negotiations that we are being pulled into has, firstly, no genuine offer. Secondly, there are government departments that should sit on the table because this is a crisis and time is not on our side. SRC and Treasury, they are not represented in that forum. We are too intelligent to allow ourselves to go into a negotiation that will not bear fruit. I wish to state very clearly, therefore, that academic staff will continue withholding labor until our demands are met.
Now, Akisa, indeed, that is part of what they said. And remember, what the lecturers are pushing for is the harmonization of the salaries and the entire package. Remember, one of the cries has been that they are the key producers of human capital in the country. And so they do not understand exactly how they can be the producers of human capital, yet the people they teach and produce from universities, they end up earning more than what they earn. And so for them, they are saying, until that CBA is clearly and comprehensively discussed and signed, they will not relent, and they will continue striking until their wishes are listened to and acted upon.
Shadrack, quickly, before I let you go, does that mean that there's absolutely no learning going on in public institutions?
Now, remember, in the morning, there were reports that the lecturers had already stopped their strike, but when we met them, they insisted that the strike is on. Remember, the information was related to another incident where, remember when this strike began, it involved two unions. That was the KUSU and the WASU. But remember, KUSU fellows withdrew after it became apparent that they had a court order. Now they have decided, but on the other hand, WASU decided that they will go on with this strike until their wishes are clearly and deeply listened to. So what these lecturers came out to state this morning was to tell the public that indeed they have not really stopped or ended their strike, but the strike is still on, and they are going to ensure that even as the talks somewhere in Westlands continue between the national leaders and the Salaries and Remuneration Commission continues, they will ensure that before any reasonable and comprehensive understanding is reached, then they will not relent. And so they will continue pushing to ensure that even if it means paralyzing the entire operation within all public universities, they will do that. Remember, what they are saying was, yes, they have been engaging the Interpublic University Consultative Forum, but they see this a body that includes all senior members of the public universities, including the vice chancellors. Okay. And this body is judged with the management and hiring of all lecturers and dons. So they say, for the past 6 years, this body has never come to them when they submitted their proposal. And so they do not really understand why it has taken this long. And so for them, they feel it has been a slap on their face. The university management seems not to be taking them seriously. And so what they have decided to do, they will not go back to class. And even if it means paralyzing all operation within universities, they will do that. But their demands have to be listened to and acted upon.
Shadrack, thank you very much for that update. Shadrack